I have to prepare your mind already. This video is going to be long, but I will try as much as possible to ensure that I do justice within limited time without wasting my time or your time too. Okay, so pick your pen, pick your books, because you will need to jot or write or replay this video back over and over again. Having said that, what are we expected to have in this video and preparatory class? First of all, this is a review for the present case study and preparation tips I will be giving you, and I will be guiding you on how to basically answer necessary questions. So we are going to be looking at the overview of the case study that we have at hand. Then we do what assessors are expecting of us, that is the assessment criteria that they will use in marking us. Then key areas will be highlighted from and within the case study presented and present, and after that I will provide solutions to key areas. And in this solution to key areas, we are going to spend a lot or a bit of time. Then I will be concluding with the overview of these case study areas, the logic involved which you must be aware of, and the expectation of the institutes or examiners concerning you, and how you should approach answering the questions. I'm trying to lay the foundation now, going by the overview that we need to understand about this particular case study. So the case study actually gives us a detail about a company that is into agriculture and to so many other areas, which we are going to go into. Adalat Products Nigeria Limited. And you as a person now, you are John Ogwede, and your role basically is a system and control accountant. And before I move on, I want us to understand that when the case study always reflects what is going on within our society and community at a particular time of our examination. Having let you know some tip or a tip about how case study questions are oftentimes woven together, it will reflect what is going on around us at a particular time. So these are the key areas in answering the question based on the case study. The knowledge and the role and responsibility that you have will be examined. So you have to have a clear description of John's role as a system and control accountant. His responsibility, you must ensure your understanding is highlighted in key aspects of his job role. So we are going to get into the detail of that. Then the analysis of the financial data. I don't want to waste our time. That is why I'm not actually presenting now the financial data or going by the overview of the case study, because it's lengthy. So financial data was given to us, and so expect that you are going to analyze the financial data. I'm going to be telling us what and what aspects seem to be coming out. So when analyzing the financial statements, look for trend, look for changes, look for important financial ratios and compute them, assess areas of strength and weaknesses of this company, that is Adalat. Then the aspect of operational and strategic proposal, you need to evaluate it. And by evaluating, you must explain how John or yourself, now you are John, your surname is John, your middle name is John. Take it like that. It seems joke, but that is the reality, because you must approach case study as a problem solver. It is important that you put yourself into the case that you are actually studying. If not, some marks will be missing. You must come alive in it. Okay, having said that, evaluating operational and strategic proposal, your knowledge will be tested. So you need to explain how you are going to assess the proposal and how you are going to ensure that it aligns with organization's business objective, which could lead to business risk, which I'm actually emphasizing. Then sustainability reports and accounting is another aspect that was given in the present case study, and you could expect that they are going to test your knowledge about it. So you must understand sustainability report, what it involves, and latest in the field of sustainability accounting. What distinguishes it from the normal financial accounting and the like. We are overviewing, actually we are going to get into the nitty-gritty of the case study solution, proposed solution. By the way, Nigerian economic environment was highlighted, and because they give you information about it, you could expect they are going to test your knowledge of it, right? So you must be able to discuss the challenges and opportunities that were presented in the case study, and your understanding of the impact of the challenges and the opportunity that Adalat has is important for you, or are important for you to discuss when answering. The strategy and differentiation of Adalat, they were highlighted, and they are going to most likely test your knowledge about it. So differentiation method, and for those of us, we may need the answer business growth model to read up about, and if time permits, I may talk more about ANSOF, because it's going to really help you about the strategy and differentiation. But if not, now I've mentioned it, go study ANSOF business growth, and so that if I do not dwell on it because of the limited time we have, you will be able on your own to quickly look at it. I've already given you tips, right? Okay, so on the differentiation and strategy, you must describe Adalat's strategic focus, differentiation strategy that they are using, and how they align with the market trend of their industry. The financial statement analysis, I've mentioned that before, and please, we were not given 2022 in the pre-scene, so you could expect that whatsoever I say now, they are going to add into it that you must consider for you to really pass the exam, because 2022 is not yet given, and they are going to update that person or that case study in the exam. Note that. But you need to provide analysis and summarize from the year they will give you to date, that is to 2022. We were given 2019 to 2021, and you must include some trends, indicators, and the like. I'm going to dwell a bit on that. Then the adaptation of changing economic landscape. You must suggest how Adalat could adapt to changing economic landscape in Nigeria, and the opportunities mentioned in the case study and how they can use it. So the expectation of the examiner actually is that you demonstrate a thorough understanding of the case study's content. All those information, they were given to you for different reasons. The information was given to you for a particular purpose, to aid you to answer the questions. So don't overlook those ones, particularly those information that I will be highlighting. Of course, I'm proposing it and tipping you. It may not be the reality, but for those of you that have always been here, you will know that we don't miss it here. Okay? Having said that, so answering the question, you must be concise, you must go straight to the point, you must reference your answer. That is, let them know that what you are saying, it was given from the tip in the question. That is what we mean by referencing here. Now, you don't need to do all those bibliography, APA, and the like. You don't need it here. Okay. So when analyzing the financial data, use relevant financial ratios and the like. And I'm going to dwell a bit more on that. Be sure to answer each question comprehensively, drawing from the information in the case study. I keep emphasizing it, drawing from the case study. So use the knowledge of your, because they want to test your comprehension, that you understand what you've read too. So use proper formats, include headings, list your answers. It's like already you made, you give the examiner and the marker speed when you do that too, because they know where you are going when you give them bullet points and lists. But ensure where they ask you to discuss, please discuss even though you list. Okay, to make your response organized and easy to follow through. So use correct formats. Now let's go into the assessment, how your knowledge and your answer will be marked and the expectation of the institute towards you. They want to test your assimilation and understanding, the comprehension and the usage of the information provided in the case study. If you do that right, you have the chance or chances of having 20% first of all in your answer. Then structuring problems and profiling solution. If you do that correctly, you are sure of additional 20%. Then what solution you've provided, when you apply your own judgment, don't forget some of the solutions were already given in the case study. Now you pick it up, then you fine-tune it and apply your judgment as the consultant of the business. Then you have additional 20% to yourself. In any question you answer, ensure you give conclusion. And in concluding, your conclusion must be tied with your objective. Every question you answer as objective. Let me give you an example. Let's say they ask you a question: how would Adalat survive the challenging environment? That is the question. So in that question, the objective is that they want you to tell them the surviving mechanism they can use, right? So when you are concluding now, ensure you tie the mechanism you've highlighted to that it could provide solution to the problem of the challenges they are actually encountering. That is the style you must use when drawing conclusion and making recommendation. Demonstrate integrative and multidisciplinary skill, 10%. That is, don't forget your CSME, don't forget your tax, don't forget your audit experience, don't forget your tax, your statistics experience, don't forget your communication experience, business skill experience. All those put together to fill the gaps, various gaps in case study answering. You have your 10 marks. Then the last 10 marks is about how you actually approach the presentation of your answer, appropriate appendices, referencing, and the like. They are very important. Not dwelling too much on that, what are the key areas? What are the key areas? We are going to go into that. As we are going into the areas now, what is my expectation too? My expectation, first of all, is that you pass. My expectation is you share this video. My expectation is that you like this video. And my expectation, if possible, a lot has gone into GJAMES Associate platform. If you deem it fit, because I know so many companies, tutorial centers are actually doing what I'm doing now, and you are paying for it on their Zoom. I'm doing it free. If you want to encourage by monetary too, email and we will send you the account number. Is that okay? So let's go there. Thank you for doing all the expectation from us here as much as the expectation of the examiners. The key areas, having said that, job responsibilities were given and most likely will be examined. Financial analysis and reporting will be examined. Operational and strategic business proposal aspects will be examined. Sustainability practices and reporting will be examined. They are going to examine the economic and business environment. The future economic outlook will be examined. They will examine Adala's products history and products aspects. They are going to examine the strategy and sustainability and also the consolidated financial statements. Let's pick it now one after the other. The key areas. Under the job role of John, and you are John, right? There may be questions surrounding description of John's role as system and control accountant. It may come out. I'm going to deal with a bit of it. Another aspect that may come out is what are John's primary responsibility in his current position, which is tied together to question 1, right? Or part A rather. Then you may be asked to explain how John prepares detailed financial analysis and how he should write a report on the performance of his company. Then financial analysis aspects. You could be asked to provide an example of financial analysis that John might have conducted. We are going to deal with this in details, but these are examinable areas that you need to get yourself prepared for. How does John assess the financial statements for weaknesses? And also explain the processes of drafting reports. Now, business communication skill is coming in for the group finance director, that is John's boss. On the operational and strategic business proposal, how does John evaluate operational and strategic business proposal? What criteria does he use to assess alignment of the proposal with the group's objective and risk. And as we are talking about group now, something should be coming to your mind now that we were given the consolidated. You must see and mention some of the names of different businesses in the group, that is some business units, SBUs. Okay. Sustainability practices and reporting. I know a bit that many of us don't like this aspect of our syllabus, but please do, because this is the reality of the case study that you may encounter. So what is John's role, you could be asked, in reviewing the business unit sustainability practices and reporting? Also, how does the company address sustainability issues in its operations? These are some of the questions that you should expect. Under the key areas about Nigeria's economic and business environment, you could be asked to describe the challenges and opportunities therein and business development opportunity. Also, how might these challenges and opportunities impact Adalat Products Nigeria Limited's operation and financial performance? You must be able to integrate this. Then, looking at the future economic outlook, aspects, key area of questioning, you may be asked to discuss the state of agricultural business in Nigeria as described in the case study, and what challenges and opportunities are associated with the agricultural sector in Nigeria. You may be asked concerning Adala's history and products, how the company contributed to Nigeria economy, and also the history and the history of its products. Every company has its history, and history must not be forgotten, because history always tells us why the organization is in existence and where the organization may likely get to. This is another examinable area. Last but not the least is you may be asked to summarize consolidated financial statements. I want to believe we are very good at this as number people, financial people. You need to analyze from 2019 to 2022. Most likely 2022 will be provided. It wasn't included as we speak now. Then what are the key financial indicators and trends? You must be able to pick some trends. So these are the main areas, and we will move on now to answer one after the other. In answering this question or profiling proposed solution, this is what are done in order to not waste much time reading through together on some of the information provided in the case study. Answering the history will give us a bit of knowledge of who Adalat really is as a company. Then we will move on to some others. So I wouldn't want us to see it as, okay, this is simple, because if we do not understand the history and some other things here, it may be difficult for us to answer some difficult questions that are coming up. I hope we are together. So that is the logic that I use. So we are using one stone to kill many birds. Okay, having said that, this is an examinable question. Provide an overview of Adalas Products Nigeria Limited history and products. So when you are overviewing something, you are snapshotting it. That is concise. Pim, 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 like some people will say. So don't overflog it. And at the same time, you must ensure that key important areas were mentioned in your overview. Okay. So in answering a question like this, Adalat International, the parent company, was established in 2005, and initially started as a small trading company operating in one country and dealing with cashew exports from Nigeria and bring something out. Now we understood India was the first place. You may try and look at the trend of their operations. Are they still trading with India in 2022? If they do, then consider the foreign exchange aspect of things. Don't overlook it. They are giving you history for a purpose. And now you know that Adalat Product Nigeria Limited now it has subsidiary, and some of the business units are not local, that is within Nigeria. They are located outside Nigeria. So Forex is a bit of things you must consider, especially in your financial analysis too, which we are going to get into. Are we getting ahead of ourselves? No, I'm making some points as it comes to my mind now, because by the time we get to that place, maybe other things that I may be talking about. So if Adalat has been in existence since 2005 and here we have 2023, you can imagine how old and how you can use that to let them know that by now, Adalat should be like the industrial leader of the industry, having spent that particular period of time, almost 2 decades or more, right? You can calculate it and put it in the comments. How many years of existence is Adalat International? How many years? How old is Adalat? Then, over the years, Adalat International expanded its operations and diversified its products offerings. So now, into leading agricultural businesses in 72 countries. Now, are we getting it from 1 unit to 72? Adalat's international strategic focus is on delivering superior returns for the shareholders and value for the stakeholders. You know, when we started, I mentioned hands of business growth, that you should look at it and consider it. Now they could ask, which we are still going to get there, what is the business focus? Now they've given us tips that offering superior products is one of it, and under ANSOF business growth model, it has a particular name we can call it. You need to know. You need to know. And also, stakeholders' value. Value for their money and the like. You must not forget to use all those information. Products of Adalat. So, Adalat Products Nigeria Limited is a subsidiary of Adalat International and has 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria. Basically, we have 6 geopolitical zones. So that means in every geographical area, Adalat is located. And now, Adalat is involved in sourcing, procuring, grading, processing, and these aspects of products: cashew, coffee, sesame, cotton, production of rice. Don't forget, you may have a need to use those information. So, also, the food products in African markets, Adalat is deeply involved. Adalat has generated indirect and direct employment in Nigeria and overseas within the farmers network, suppliers network, wholesalers, local business agents, service providers. All these names I've mentioned can be summarized under what we call supply chain. There may be a question around your supply chain. When they mention supply chain and the like, just come back and look for aspects like this and give it to them. These are aspects of supply chain. Then Adalat products. So if question comes on supply chain, give these aspects to them, right? So Adalat has contributed economically and otherwise in Nigeria and overseas. Let me pause here. 1 minute, I'll come back. How has Adalat contributed to the economy and employment? We can look at the food security. We can look at support for smallholder firms or farmers. We can look at the agricultural production and export aspects, the employment generation, the local economic growth that they've pushed forward, the value chain development, which I've earlier highlighted, diversification of agricultural export, the skill development and capacity building within the industry. We can mention some of these aspects as contribution of Adalat to the Nigerian economy and employment. I'm not going to overflow this because of our time. This is the answer you may need to prefer, then you flesh it up. Another question is about your role, John, as the system and control accountant. So what are you expected to be doing? The preparation of strategic statements, preparation of financial analysis, assessing operational and strategic business units, and making recommendation. You must review the business units and the group for sustainability practices and ensure that they are adhering to policies. You must draft your report and send to the group financial director. You must demand that follow-up reports of the observation and your recommendation gets back to you from business units manager and report thereon to the group financial director. Also, you must keep abreast of the demands in your environment, the challenges and the demand on your skill, and also you must be abreast of national development, even in the system accounting and control world. You must live abreast of time so that you will be able to perform your duties. Still on John's role, ensure that areas of weaknesses in the organization were identified and you tried to provide solution to inefficiencies and the like. Also, profile and provide solution. Monitor that your profile solutions were implemented and follow them up. You must assess the business proposals that will be sending to ensure alignment with the business objectives and ensure how do they contribute to the business risk. Of course, as control accountants and system accountants, you may need to forecast your assessment, and that deals with a bit of statistic knowledge and the like. Sustainability reporting, ESG. Now you must factor it in and ensure adherence of the business units to sustainability business practices and reportage. Of course, you must draft your reports. Additionally, John is expected to stay updated on global and national development within his industry. These are some of the key areas that John's role will demand on his or her skill. Okay, is it possible for a woman to be John? Okay, that will be John's child. Let's move on without wasting time. Explain how John prepares detailed financial analysis and reports on the performance of the business units, the subsidiaries. So now, this is a proposed question and proposed answer to detailed financial analysis and reporting. For John or for you to be able to prepare detailed financial analysis, you must gather sufficient information. You must gather sufficient information. I hope at this point you've subscribed, you've liked, you've shared this video. GJAMES Associates, we pride ourselves that we are value to life, we are value to your businesses, we are value to your examination passage, right? And my name for those that are just joining is Gbenga Olatunji James. So you must gather data, and having gathered the information or the data now that becomes information, you must work on data verification. So you must verify that the data you've gathered is accurate, is complete. Check this for discrepancies, know who are involved in the data preparation and the like, and that everything is properly recorded. Then you can turn it to financial ratios, do some metrics, follow some trends and the like for your financial analysis. Debt equity ratio, efficiency ratio and the like. I know you are good at that, so I'm going to move on from that. Trend analysis, looking at the first year. This is talking about the comparability of the financial statements What do we have in 2019? What do we have in 2020? Is 2019 and 2020 comparable, or information is missing? John needs to ask. And if it's not missing, is it increasing or is it decreasing, or is it stays put? You need, that is talking about trend analysis. Now you need to ensure that the transition is flowing. And how is it flowing? Is it flowing upward or is it flowing downward? You must be able to let us know at this level of the examination. Variance analysis, this is bringing your costing experience into it, performance management into it, project management into it. Narrative description, like those of us that have been following me on advanced audit and assurance, I always tell us that as much as figurative statements are important, the narrative aspect of audit or of financial reports is important. The financial reports actually comprise of two things or two information. We have the figurative and we have the narrative. We are on the figurative side, but please don't neglect the narrative side. The narrative description, you must be able to understand why we have this figure. And as John now, you must be able to let us know as the board of directors that you relate with. Graphics, visual aids. Like now, you are looking at my picture. In your report, you must be able to use graphics, visual aids, and the like. I'm posing, I'm expecting you to pass. Your visual aid must communicate something. John, your visual aid must communicate something. Sometimes they say picture speaks louder than voice. So this is the knowledge of analysis that John must present. SWOT analysis, the strength, the weakness, the opportunity, the threat. Then make recommendation. Compile your reports concisely, easy to read, and it flows. Present it. Present. It must be timely in presentation. It must be presented to the right people or the right person. Another thing or another area of questioning is the operational and strategic business proposal. Don't forget, it's an area that's the job role of John entails. So a system and control accountant must ensure he or she reports on strategic business proposals that will be receiving. And what must he or she look out for? One, review of proposal documents. You as John must thoroughly review operational and strategic business proposals. Don't forget, we call it strategic. And for it to be strategic, it has long-term impact on the organization. Is externally focused, that is competitor. It may affect us and affect our competitor. If not well monitored and supervised, the decision that we will make as a company can impact our market share, can impact the customer base and the like. So you as John cannot overlook this aspect of your answering, and it's a strong area of expectation for questioning when the case study is eventually out. So the business proposal actually will include detailed documentation of the objectives, the scope, the expected outcome, the source or the resources requirements to carry out such projects that we want to embark on. John, you must ensure alignment with the company's objective. Don't just allow your business unit directors, business unit managers to just bring any frivolous proposal. You must ensure it aligns with business objective. That means you as John must know your operational objectives, your strategic company's objective before you can ensure alignment of strategic business proposals to the company's objective. I hope you are still with me. We are just starting. We still have a lot to cover. Then the financial analysis. You must be able to analyze the figures in the proposals. I'm not going to dwell much on that because of our time. Risk assessment. What are the risk assessments that you need to evaluate? The potential risk that may arise even in the proposal may not be included, but you as a financial person, you are aware of. Maybe in form of the market risk, the operational risk. So you need to consider all this as it relates and contributes to your company's risk profile and how the company can respond to them, or if need be at this proposal stage, how you can mitigate or stop it. CBA, that is cost benefit analysis. You need to perform it. A video has been made on cost benefit analysis. You can check on it. I'm not going to dwell on it because I've dwelt on cost benefit analysis in a video. Check it out. Sustainability assessments. In fact, sustainability accounting. I've done a video on it. I think it's a live video. So you may need to go to the aspect of live video on GJAMES Associates and look for sustainability and everything that you need to know about it. We are going to move on because we know already this video is going to be long, but what we can escape, let's escape it and move on. Now, the resources consideration. You must factor all those things in if you are the one pulling together the proposal. If you are not, if you are the one they are submitting proposal to, you must collate all those information and resources consideration for the project of the SBUs, that is the business units under ADALAS group. Scenario analysis. In fact, you may create scenario. In project management, we create scenario. So bring in this question now, you need to bring your cost management or cost accounting creativity into bear. MVP, all those aspects of projects assessment, you need to use it. Time value for money approach and the like. Create scenario and put alternatives and do some indices. Make recommendation, brief recommendation. Write a good report. I've mentioned a bit of your report. Highlight, summarize. In your conclusion, tie your conclusion to your objective, feed them back, those that have submitted proposal. And if you are the one submitting proposal, pulling the proposal together and submitting, ensure that you follow up with the board of directors using your group finance director to know how things are progressing. So, ticked. What criteria does John use to assess the alignment of proposal with the group's objectives and risk? You know, here now, we've been talking about risk, we've been talking about proposal and the like. Now we want to really deal with some of the aspects here. So here are some alignment criteria. Ensure there is a strategic alignment. A strategic alignment will sit well with corporate strategy. It will follow through with corporate strategy that the organization has in store. This is what I'm talking about. Another criteria that John must use in assessing the alignment of the proposal is financial alignment. Then we'll be talking about viability. And when we are talking about viability, we are talking about the expectation and the positive contribution to the company's performance, company's stability that project may bring. Then budget compliance. It must assess whether that proposal aligns with the allocated budget and financial resources, ensuring that it is affordable within the company's financial constraints. How again must he assess it? He must look for the risk assessment aspect of it. The risk in this project, how can we mitigate it? And is there a relationship between the risk and the return trade-off? John, you must consider the market and competitive alignment. These proposed projects or the objective of this proposal, is it going to take us to have a new market or penetrating into the existing market? Our market demand, is it going to be impacted? How is this project projecting us for competitive positioning? Are we using our competitive advantages right, or do we have competitive advantages in this venture we are about to go into? On the operational side, do we have operational capability to execute this proposal? John actually has a lot on his table, and that is our job role. Do we have capacity to execute? Sustainability alignment. When we are talking about sustainability alignment, we are talking about our footprint. The footprint, that is what the organization will do that will impact the environment negatively, and the measurement of it, that is under sustainability reporting and sustainability accounting. The long-term value and the impact that this project or proposal is bringing on us must be considered. The contribution to the group's objectives, synergy, we cannot overemphasize it. This proposal, this project, is it going to pull us together, or is it going to cause separation in the group? Don't forget that there are a lot of organizations. If I remember correctly, the locations alone, we have like 72 branches now. So how is it going to impact our togetherness as an organization? So integrating with the existing operation, John must consider it. If somebody needs to get water, please get water. Okay, because we just still have to move on. Maybe when it is one now, maybe I will start another video so that it will not be too long. I hope you agree as to that. I think that would be good for all of us, but I wish to finish this first. Then the regulatory and the ethical compliance must be considered by John. And by using all these criteria, John ensures that operational strategic business proposals will align with ADALA's objective and are well positioned to manage the risk effectively while contributing to business overall success. I think I will be taking on sustainability practices on the new video. Let me see if I can quickly run through and finish sustainability right about now in this video. So John's responsibility, those are the things that we've mentioned. It should report to the board what he had observed, benchmark and best practices must be considered. I'm just trying to snapshot some of other important things I must call your attention to. When we're talking about benchmarking, we are talking about ensuring that ourselves as organization and maybe another company in our industry and regulatory framework, best practices, our project align with it. We must monitor the progress. John must monitor the progress of the project. Stakeholders' engagement should come in before, after, and during the execution. Recommendation for enhancement if needs be. I think I will need to wrap up. Data collection, reporting, compliance to standard, assessment of sustainability best practices, ESG. These are some of the aspects of the responsibility of John as it relates to sustainability reporting, sustainability accounting, and its responsibility to manage sustainability accounting. From GJAMES Associates, I'm going to stop this video here and continue from this question: how does the company address sustainability issue in its operations? We are going to start from here. From GJAMES Associates, we add value to life, we add value to your businesses. Gbenga Olatunji FCA is my name. We've been doing and dwelling on case study preview and pre-scene, talking about the tips on how to pass case study examination and guiding you on how to pass. We pride ourselves that we are value to life, we are value to your businesses and exams preparation. Please join the next video where we continue the proposed solution to 2023 November Diet case study. My name remains Gbenga Olatunji, FCA.